Alright. Welcome to Sideboardmtg. My name's Eric, and tonight we're going to be playing some decks that were submitted by you guys from Reddit, and we're having a little problems getting started here, so technical difficulties. Thanks for those of you that hung out in chat there and waited on me to come up. Those for you just now joining us, welcome, and we're going to be getting into three pretty cool decks tonight. We've got Jund, we've got Abzan tokens, and we've got a blue-white Helm deck. So some pretty good list here that I'm excited to run. Always excited to see another version of Jund, and we do have a version tonight. This will actually be the first version I've run that has Jade-like Ranger in it. A lot of people like that card, so we're going to be playing with that tonight. We've got some pretty cool lists, so I hope you guys enjoy them. If you do, give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, subscribe to the channel. Maybe you want your decks featured in our Subscriber Sunday. Well, there's a link in the description box to get over to the Reddit. Post your decks there. It's just a forum. Doesn't cost you a thing. But if you do want to spend a little money, there's no better way to do it than to join manatraders, so you could play each and every one of these decks yourself. If you do decide to sign up for manatraders, check the description box below for your coupon code Sideboardmtg15, and it'll save you 15% on your first 3 months. Pretty good deal, and Standard's getting expensive, guys. Some of the decks we're playing tonight, $200, $300, and you know, like, that's a really, really expensive deck. So anyway, at least we don't have fetches, right? $50 fetches, man. You used to have $200 and $300 land bases. Oh man, it was. Oh. Anyway, guys, my name's Eric, and we're gonna get into some games. All right, what's up, guys? How you doing? Ah, man, I've eaten so much today. We went out and hung out with some friends, and had us you know, a little bit of a potluck style thing, you know, cook out. And, you know, I took potato salad. It was great. Oh, loved it. So good. Anyway, we're gonna play with this Jund deck here. Pretty cool list, and you know, pretty straightforward. He's got the 4 canyon sloughs. He has the 4 sheltered thickets, so I'm really happy about that. And then he's got a lot of basics. I think he could get away with a lot more on the split lands and stuff, but he's got a lot of basics, and it makes me think that most of the deck's going to come in untapped. So that does not bother me at all, as long as you know, we are coming in untapped for turns, you know, 3, 4, 5, and even 6. You know, that is exactly where I want to be, and let's look at why. Now, we do have a playset of Land of War Elves and a playset of Glint Sleeve Siphoner, so we've got a really good curve here. You know, Land of War into a Jade-like Ranger, or you know, we can Fatal Push, Duress on turn 1 into a Glint Sleeve Siphoner, draw some more cards, do some more control type things. So we have the option to get ahead a little bit. I hate pulling this late, but that's one of the costs of running it. So we do have some more removal here on the cheap side with a Braid. Braid's a really good removal piece that, you know, everyone's running right now. You pretty much have to have it. So mission for tonight, beat Control. Ooh, right? Control is a hard deck to beat, man. It is just a hard deck to beat. Anyway, 4 Jade-like Rangers, 1 Death Gorge Scavenger here. I'm a little on the fence about the singleton Death Gorge Scavenger, but you know, maybe he just wanted to round off that 3-drop a little bit more. Now, he is running 3 copies of Vraska's Contempt, 3 copies of Chandra, 4 copies of Rekindling Phoenix, 2 copies of Vitrix Bladewing. Now, this is a lot of 4-drops and a lot of really expensive cards. We move on up to the cheaper side of things here with you know, the $2 Glorybringers, awesome, but he's pretty cheap. He's been around. He's been printing a few things. Pretty cool. Everybody needs to be able to get a playset of Glorybringers, and he's a good price. So the last card here in the main board is 1 Vraska's Contempt. I mean, 1 Vraska herself. No, just the Vraska. Anyway, let's look at the sideboard, and then we'll jump into some games with this bad boy. Another copy of Vraska's Contempt, so he's rounding out the playset. He does have a Noxious Gearhulk. Pierce the Sky. This is one that I found to be a little bit intriguing. Pierce the Sky, it only deals 7 damage to target creature with flying, right? Crushing Canopy would be my pick here, but I understand, you know, 2 converted mana costs. When he brings it in, this is exactly what he's wanting to do. But against Lyra decks and things like that, I believe that Crushing Canopy is going to be really good too, because you also have the enchantments and stuff like Seal Aways in that deck, and Crushing Canopy, like if they don't pull their Lyra, then you can Crushing Canopy the Seal Away. So another 2 copies of a Braid, so that rounds out the playset here. He does have Sweltering Suns and Doomfall in the 3 slot. 1 copy of Naturalize. So I'm a little on the fence. There's no Thrashing Brontodon, and there's not much in the way of graveyard hate, so it's not like he's going to be able to do a whole lot with the graveyard, and I am a little bit worried about that, and I think that might come into a problem if you run up against some decks with graveyard mechanics. So hopefully we will not see that in our matchup, but it could happen. A lot of decks have some small interaction with the graveyard, so if you can just pull a card or 2 away from them, it's normally pretty good. So Magma Spray, 2 copies of that, 2 copies of Chandra's Defeat. This is really good against opposing Glorybringers and things like that. Also, you have 1 mana, so if you play a Glorybringer on 6, you can swing, just pop the, like the Phoenix or something, like the Phoenix token or something with this, so it works pretty well. The last copy here in the sideboard is another copy of Duress to make a 3 of total that we can have in the deck against control. I would like to see, some Sorcerer's Spyglass, Lost Legacy, or something like that in the sideboard. There's a couple other cards in the sideboard I would like a little bit more graveyard hate. It's just really good against like Scrap Heap Scroungers and things like that. So, maybe another Death Gorge Scavenger or something like that. Just naturally, like, these are the cards that I would kind of like to see. So let's jump into a game here and see what's up with this deck. Looks pretty mean. Maybe we'll find a deck that's pretty good. Air Gaps. I played Air Gaps on stream before. I think it's a Stream Sniper. We'll find out. We will find out. Good luck. Have fun. All right. Well, he got the game. He got the dice roll, so he's going to be on the play. And here we go. Let's fix this. All right. Only 1 land. Looks like we're going to have to mulligan. It's brutal. Alright, well, we got some lands. Don't have any red sources. So hopefully we'll pull something to play with, I think I have to put that on the bottom. With this Llanowar Elf. There's an Abrade, but we may just be swinging with our Llanowar Elf here. Rootbound Crag. Alright, well, it's a start. There might be an argument to not swing so he can't seal it away, but at this point I would probably trade a Llanowar Elf for a seal it away. Fatal Push. Okay, so he could kill it anyway. No big deal. He could kill it anyway. Play an artifact. No? Okay. Another land. Alright, well, we do need a red source. Red source would be really nice. Not next turn, but the turn after that it would be really good. Okay, so we go for Vraska's Contempt on the Teferi here if he goes for it. There's a Glimmer. Land. No Teferi. And we don't have a red land to go get one. Oh well, he's gonna pop our red source, make us go get a mountain. So now we have even less red sources here. This is what I was mentioning about. I would like to see more basics, so or not more non-basics, so that we wouldn't have been just like floated on basic lands. In a 3-color deck, it is very important, especially if you're trying to hit double red on 4, and you're trying to hit double green on 3, and you're trying to hit double black. So we'll definitely look at the land base here. Well, we'll go ahead and destroy that. I mean, he gets to glimmer again, which is not cool. Not cool at all. So if he does have a Teferi, he can get it down now. So, like, here, this is a prime example, like, of having the right mana base. Jund is not hard to have the right mana base here, and we'll look at a Jund deck here in a minute, and we'll look at that mana base, and it's going to have more of your basics in it. You're probably going to need something like Aether Hub or something like that, but this deck has Glint Sleeve Siphoners, and it doesn't have Aether Hub. Aether Hub alone would have done more work here, just because we would have been able to save that. Alright, well, we have to go for it. I mean, I'm sure he has the counter here. This means he only has 2 mana open on our turn, so, like, Glorybringer is going to be definitely what we're going for if we hit that red source. I mean, he's got 6 cards, though. Having Essence Scattered's probably a thing. We're not going to get it. Not going to get it. Okay, so he's going to scatter that. I'm good with that. I mean, not as happy as I could be, but you know, a red source off the top would make me the happiest. But doesn't look like we're going to get that. I mean, 6 cards in hand. He just floated some mana to make sure that he wouldn't untap mine. Okay, well, I mean, we're probably just going to start losing to this Teferi. How are we doing tonight, Justin? We are doing okay, sir. We're playing a Jund deck that either we're just drawing really bad, or it just doesn't have enough red sources in the deck. So this is definitely something that we should probably talk about with a lot of the guys. When you're running these 3-color decks, you're going to have a lot more of a smooth time running 25, 26 lands. Now, I know that seems like a lot, but you're going to really want to run those 25 to 26 lands. This is just brutal. I mean, he's got Settles. Okay, now he just ultimated Teferi. Like, we just didn't have any way to fight back. But we're gonna look at this mana base here in a moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 15 red sources. I mean, that's a lot of red sources. But we could have easily had hubs, a couple hubs in here. Probably only have room for maybe 1 basic each. Yeah. Which makes Llanowar Elves a little bit harder to play with. Okay, let's look at what we need against this deck. We need Doomfall. We need Vraska's Contempt. We do not need the Fatal Push. A Braid is good. Duress is good. Magma Spray is not. Naturalize is good. He might have Lyra. Didn't see it, so I'll bring this in instead. Alright, so we have some huge threats. Glorybringer is great because of the haste. Rekindling Phoenix is really, really good. Llanowar Elf is like the weakest card here, but getting a jump on him might be great. This draws cards. I am going to take the Deathgorge Scavenger out. I'll take out 1 Braid. I don't know. We'll probably need to leave that Braid in. So what do we cut? Vitrix Bladewing? I don't know. Like, the Rekindling Phoenix is anything he has to... I don't know. This beats Fumigate. Let's look at this. Sort by converted mana cost. Maybe it's a Jadelight Ranger and a Glory Bee. I don't want to take out a Glint. Maybe 1 Llanowar Elf. Yeah, we're gonna go like that. Yeah, that ultimate is awesome. Lost to Teferi Day. He was going to mill out, but loop Teferi until he killed me. Right. That is the blue-white win con. Is Teferi, and you just play until. Okay, we got a mulliganing here. All right. Well, we got the land. We got double red, but now we don't have the black here. I am going to keep. Glorybringer is going to go on the bottom. We need more land. So, I mean, we do not have an aggressive... I just put Glorybringer on the bottom, guys. Okay. Come on, Wizards. Magic the Gathering. Don't do me like this. Don't do it. You may end up cutting an Adorned Pouncer and a Pride Sovereign and Adorned Priest in your deck for a couple of lands. You know, guys, like, if you don't play lands, then you don't get to play your spells. I know, it's like, I want to run as few lands as possible because I don't want to flood. Flooding means that you got into a fight most of the time. Most of the time we look down at what appears to be flooding, and you've actually just gotten into a fight. You're actually on turn 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and you do have a lot of lands. And when you're out of cards in your hand, lands are a problem. Like top decking a non-threat on turn 9 when you have 7 mana is a problem. But a real flood is being on like turn 12 or 13 and have made 13 land drops. I mean, it's I mean, he's got it right. He has to have the Glorybringer or the Essence Scatter here. Either that or he has the Seal Away. We will try to swing at Teferi. Blink of an eye, he's just going to bounce my Glorybringer. That means that maybe the cleanest way he had to deal with that. Otherwise, he would have saved that blink of an eye to draw a card with. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Ooh. No activated abilities here, my friend. I mean, normally I would understand like the land base and stuff in these decks. You know, people don't want to run certain lands because they don't have certain cards or something like that. But this deck has 4 Rekindling Phoenixes in it, which is like $100 by itself. So if you've got $100 in a 4 of card in your deck, but you didn't invest into the mana base, that is definitely something you're gonna want to go back and do. So like, I need to pull up the name of like whose deck is this so I know who I'm talking to here. I'm talking to everyone but Rhys King? King Ray? Ray's King. Anyway. Glint Sleeve. I mean, you stop the Glorybringer again? Probably. I mean, he could just be like, sure, and I'll bounce it. I mean, he knows we have the Vraska's Contempt. This is the first opponent I have played that taps his own mana to make like floats his own land to make sure he doesn't untap mine. All right. Okay, so Teferi's going to ultimate soon. So we're gonna go for the Doomfall. We're gonna try to clear his hands of cards that can stop us from casting this Vraska's Contempt. Poopy Fatty, $5 donation. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Why isn't my alerts coming up? Like, what? Why didn't that work? Alright, I'm going to take a little damage here. We're going to go ahead and duress one more time. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, so he's got a negate. And he has a Teferi. So if we take the negate, and next turn we can kill... Oh, this is gonna be horrible, right? Oh man. Oh goodness. It's called the no win con deck. Oh yeah, it is definitely called the no win con deck. Yeah, that's what Jim Davis ran. He ran a deck that said you don't have to win. All you have to do is not lose, right? Why was your message retracted? I mean, this is not the ideal situation, guys. I mean, we have to stop this Teferi from killing us. So he's going to go... We're dead. I mean, he drew a negate. I mean, he's drawing 2 cards per turn. He drew a negate. We just cleared his hand, but... Oh, man. Took up a lot of space in chat. You're good, man. You're good. Well, that's going to be game, guys. Like, we're not going to be able to cast anything else. Teferi's going to completely mill us out. I mean, he can get a Teferi emblem here, cast another Teferi. Yeah, that's going to be game. I don't even care that... I mean, I don't even... Like, Glimmer of Genius is going to draw 2 cards, which means he's going to blow up 2 lands. He can exile our Phoenix next turn just on his draw step. You do not beat a Teferi emblem. You just don't. Like, unless you already had them at 1 or 2 and you already had a board. Yeah, in which case they probably don't have a Teferi emblem, so yeah. Let's talk about this Jund deck, guys. Alright, so when we were working on Jund, and I say when we, I mean James and I, and you know, most of the rest of the Coffee Time crew, we did come up with a really good mana base for Jund, and we got this from looking at a lot of the other 3-colored decks out there. There are quite a few of them. And if you are going to be running 3-color, I do suggest that you put the Aether Hubs in. The Aether Hubs are going to be really, really important. Also, there's a line that goes with the Aether Hubs where you play any black source on turn 1, play Aether Hub on 2, and then you can Glint Sleeve Siphoner and push the threat of drawing a card immediately the next game, or the next turn. So this pushes the threat just in Glint Sleeve Siphoner alone. So I really, really think that there needs to be more black sources in the deck. Now, if you're going to run something like Land of War Elves, you might want to increase the count of Blooming Marsh in the deck, just because of the fact that Blooming Marsh can cast both your Fatal Push on turn 1 and the Land of War Elves on turn 1. Now here in this particular deck, we don't have a lot of early green mana, but we do need to get to double green on turn 3, much the same way that you need to for a Jade Light Ranger. Now personally, I think that the Thrashing Brontodon is a lot better because of the blue-white matchup and because of how well it matches up against the Heart of Kirin meta, and so many people trying to play Heart of Kirin and the enchantments and stuff. So if you are going to play Jund, go back and look at the Jund list that we have posted. It was on the Coffee Time and some other things, and you know, that's a really, really, you know, solid mana base that will support, you know, turn 3 double green and turn 4 double red or double black. And at that point, if you have turn 4 double black, you have turn 4 double red, you have turn 3 double green, then you do have the support you need for pretty much anything you need after that. Whether you want to run double red in your 5-drop slot or something like that, it will support it. So by all means, I will scan through this one more time. 4 Aether Hubs, 2 Blooming Marsh, 4 Canyon Slough, 2 Dragon Skull Summits, only 1 Forest, 2 Mountains, because the deck was a little bit heavy on red with all the double red here with the Chandras and the Rekindling Phoenix, much like the other Jund deck. But there is an extra Rootbound Crag in here, and there is extra woodland cemeteries. This will help you get the black sources, and this will help you get you know, your double red sources and things like that, especially when you're running the Glint Sleeve Siphoner. A lot of times you'll have that 2 energy, and they will go to remove that Glint Sleeve Siphoner on 2 to keep you from drawing the card. And when they do that, it does give you that extra ability. Okay, I don't have Glint Sleeve Siphoner anymore. I have the freedom to use this energy into my Aether Hubs and go from there. So I do like Aether Hub for that exact reason. So if you're going to be running Glint Sleeve Siphoners, run the Aether Hubs. They work really, really well together. And I think that's about all I've got to say about this Jund deck. We've talked about a lot of Jund lately. So the next deck on our list here is Abzan Tokens. Now, Abzan Tokens, this is a deck that was really, really good for a while. Was Abzan Tokens and Esper Tokens. Now, those decks actually relied heavily on the Hidden Stockpile Anointed Procession mechanic. Now, this does have Anointed Procession in the main board as a 4 of, but it does not have main board Hidden Stockpile. However, there are 4 in the sideboard. Now, personally, I don't know if those should be main board or not, but I do know that in the past when I was running these decks, I felt that a 4 of Legion's Landing was never a good idea, so I think that there's an open slot right there in the Legion's Landing for another land. There's only 23 land in this deck, and I do believe that this deck could get away with 24 land, maybe not 25 and 26, mainly because of the normal ability of this deck to scry with Hidden Stockpile. However, that Hidden Stockpile is not in the main board here, so I do believe that you may want to go up the land count here, and I will have to look at it a little bit to see exactly what I think we may or may not cut. But right at first glance, the first cut would be cut down to 3 Legion's Landing. So, roll that beautiful bean footage, right? Oh man, we had some good baked beans today. Oh man, it was good. It was good. Country style, you know, hamburger meat in them. Oh man, it was good. Oh. Anyway, Shana, Sisei's Legacy. Can't be the target of abilities your opponents control. Now, the first time I read this card, I was like, oh no, I can't target it. But no, it's just abilities. So Teferi can't bounce her, which is pretty cool. But they can blink of an eye her. Get what I'm saying? And she does get +1/+1 for each creature you control, and that's pretty cool. So the plan here is to go very wide and give her a very large, you know, power and toughness, and just keep swinging in. Pretty cool creature, especially when you're going wide. I think that Sisei's Legacy is pretty cool. So Shana is awesome. Anointed Priest is no stranger to these tokens games. This card is just really, really smooth, you know, way to sail right back into the game. You start making tokens and things like that, especially when you have the hidden stockpiles and you're triggering your token generation every turn, and then you know, Anointed Procession just giving you multiple tokens every turn and things like that. I think that this card is one of the best ways to get back in the game against aggressive decks. You can get down an Anointed Priest. Heaven forbid you have an Anointed Procession or 2 out on the battlefield and embalm this creature. Embalming this creature can absolutely set the game in your favor 100%. So this this card with Anointed Procession is a terrific card. Now, we do have Adorned Pouncer, which is one of my favorite things to bring back as a 4/4 with Anointed Procession, because you get 2 4/4s, so I really like the Adorned Pouncer. But in most situations, this is just a 2-mana 1/1 with Double Strike, which is a really good card, blocks a lot of creatures out there. However, it does die to your Goblin Chain Whirler and things like that. However, when you bring it back, it's a 4/4. So the 4/4 is bigger than Chain Whirler and can meet him on first strike combat, which will finish him off. So I do think that this is a good time to be running Adorned Pouncer, and again with the Anointed Procession, getting 2 of them for the price of 1 is terrific. Curses are cool. What? By the way, the reason Stockpile isn't main deck is because you wanted to go a bit more aggressive with Appeal to Authority and the Watley, which is originally sideboard. I wish you had a couple more Watleys in this deck. I'm afraid that I'm not going to get to play her today when we play this, but Watley is terrific when you start making creatures and things like that. You start getting her to her ultimate. Oh man, so good. Pride Sovereign, this is a really cool card. Now it'll either put out cats of its own, creating 2/1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink, or you're just getting huge with it and swinging in. So like, it's pretty good. I do like my Pride Sovereign. Like, this card is pretty good. Oketra the True. Oketra really gets some good usage out of going wide, and a lot of people, like, you gotta have, a lot of people really like swear by their late game mana sinks, and I'm the same. I think that a late game mana sink is a really good thing to have in your deck. So I mean, when you're doing nothing else but just okay, well, I'm just going to tap 4 and make a dude. I'm going to tap 4 and make a dude. Sometimes it can keep you in the game for a long time, and if you get to make a couple dudes, you can start fighting back into the game with a double strike indestructible Oketra the True. So she does require for you to have 3 other creatures before you can swing or block with her. So that is the requirement to get her online. Alright, moving on up the curve. That's right, guys, we're moving up the curve in 23 lands. So madness, man, we're really going to have to add some more lands to this deck. I do like the Regal Caracals. I do like the Varaskas, especially with Anointed Procession. Varaska being able to make additional pirates and things like that. It is terrific. I do like it. A Regal Caracal, like Anointed Procession into Regal Caracal, can actually be devastating, backbreaking. But I am worried that it's going to be hard for us to play some of these Varaskas and Caracals, and maybe even hitting our Anointed Procession on time with only 23 lands. So I really want this deck to go off. I'm going to cut one of these Legion's Landings right now, and we're going to... I don't think we need another black source. I'm going to go with another white source, or actually, we'll just go with another Evolving Wilds. How's that? Evolving Wilds is really good. When we bring the hidden stockpiles in, it's also really good. So I'm just going to go with one more Evolving Wilds. And other than that, that is the main deck. We do have Start to Finish as our token producer and kill spell in this deck. I do like this card. It's instant speed on the first half, so at the end of their turn, you can create 2/1/1 white warrior tokens with vigilance, and then on your turn, you can like swing with those tokens, and then at the end, like sacrifice one to kill something or something like that. Or it's sorcery, so you might need to kill one of them before you can swing, whatever. Not Evolving Wilds. Sun Petal Grove. I actually think that you want the extra Evolving Wilds if you're going to run the Revolt. But okay, Sun Petal Grove it is. I don't know if I even have one. Sun Petal Grove means we're waiting. I'm not doing that. I'd rather put in a basic. I can put an Isolated Chapel, but I think you need more green. I think it's the Evolving Wilds, man. Like, don't underestimate the Evolving Wilds. I mean, you know what? My bad. We're not gonna change anything like we do on any other deck. We're just gonna run it. Oh, I need to talk about the sideboard, right? Alright, 4 hidden stockpiles, 2 lost legacies, 4 Ixalan's Binding, 3 Invoke the Divine, and 2 heroic interventions. Now, this is a very, when I see, sideboards that have, 4 of, 4 of, 3 of, things like that, it usually means there's specific plans that this deck has a hard time beating this matchup. This one card helps that matchup more than anything else. So, I think that, by all means, I think that the hidden stockpile is a great card and is going to hedge mostly against against both control decks and aggro decks. I don't really know why this isn't in the main board. I mean, being more aggressive with the Appeal to Authority is a good plan, but this card it is the reason that the Abzan Tokens deck was once tier 1. I mean, there were people that were taking this to, the Pro Tour, and it hasn't lost any of those cards. So, like, The Abzan tokens deck was not broken, hasn't lost cards. It was just there's other cards in the meta that have changed the format, and the backbone of that deck was hidden stockpiling into Anointed Procession with 4 Evolving Wilds and things like that. So I don't see why this is in the sideboard, but this is the new take on it, or this is Madness's take on it, so we're going to give it a try and see how it runs. Now, against Fumigate decks, Heroic Intervention is really, really good. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, so you can't wipe them away. Felt like there were too many 4-drops, could be wrong, but you also wanted to play a lot more creatures than a typical tokens build. Understood, man. Invoke the Divine here, destroy target artifact or enchantment, you gain 4 life. I don't really like Invoke here when we have green. I think that we have enough life gain in this deck with the token generation and the Anointed Procession and things like that. I think that we're going to be actually just wanting something like Naturalize. So I'm kind of around the Naturalize on this. I mean, when you have green, I think it's the better way to go. We do have a lot of life gain from Anointed Priest, and we're making, you know, life-linking vampires and things like that. So we may or may not need this life gain. We'll see when we play it. But yeah, I think Naturalize is where you want to be when you're in green. But if you're not in green, like if you're in blue-white or something like that, they don't have the beauty of Naturalize. So they do. You do see a lot of people running this Invoke. It's not a bad card. It's just I think you can do the same effect for 1 less mana. It may cost you 4 life, but in a lot of situations, most of us would have paid 4 life to cast a spell a turn earlier. Ixalan's Binding, 4 of here, just solid card. Solid card. I like Ixalan's Binding. 2 Lost Legacy to answer Teferi or answer Approach, so we bring that in against blue-white, and that's the deck, guys. I'm gonna do it. I can't not. I got to put in that 1 extra land here. I want the deck to run well, and you guys, I'm telling you, you gotta run lands. Lands have to be played in decks. Have you been paying attention around here lately? He may have made this before Teferi really got on the rise. I mean, the deck has been posting for a little bit, so. I mean, he's got Lost Legacy as an answer, and I don't know, Teferi bouncing Anointed Procession or something like that might be bad, so. Okay, do we have an opponent? There we go, Kermit. What's up, Kermit? How you doing, Kermit? Good luck. Good luck. Good luck, have fun. Alright, well, we've got some lands. We only need to draw 1 land. I mean, we can go Pride Sovereign. I'll keep this. This is not horrible. Plains brings in everything untapped, so. There's a Land of War Elf. So we need 1 land in the next 3 turns to get down our Anointed Procession. There's an Oketra's Monument. He's going to be trying to go wide as well. Oketra the True. Well, look, we're green too, but we don't have what you have. Really? Magic the Gathering. Oh no. Song of Freylis. Now this can tap for mana, guys. Well, this will actually work really good because if we don't draw another land to play our Anointed Procession, we can Shauna Sisse's Legacy, and then Yeah, I mean, Shauna's not bad. We can at least Shauna Sisei's Legacy, and then add a add two more cats to the battlefield. I mean, it is exerting, but bunch of 2/2s. I don't think I'm going to kill that right now. I don't want to make that trade. Woodland Cemetery is pretty good. It at least means we're going to be doing our thing next turn. And I'm just going to pass here. So, I mean, yes, he will make his dudes into 3/3s. They're indestructible. But we can block. I mean, at least blocking a little damage is not horrible. So, exerting here, both of our creatures get +1/+1 for each creature we control, so we could make them into 4/4s. Wow, he's got the Druidic Vow. Look at the top X cards of his library. You may put any number of lands or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. The rest in your graveyard. He got a Shalom Voice of Plenty, and he got a Marwyn the Nurturer. Wow, that was pretty good. That was pretty good card to pull there. Well, Oketra the True's not bad. Anointed Procession would be awesome. I mean, I can play Anointed Procession this turn. We can stave off of a little bit of damage. Yeah, we'll do that. So the plan here will be to hold off a little bit of damage, and then next turn, if we don't draw the land for the cat, then we'll play this cat and exert this one, and then we can have them exerting every turn. So that won't be too bad. We do have to worry about this Shala just beating us down in the air. I mean, he's only got 3 cards left in hand. Oh, wow. All right. So he can put a +1/1 counter here, and he's probably going to do that. I'm just going to feed a couple cats here. Yeah, I mean, we can make these cats back. We can definitely get these cats back. So we'll just block with a couple cats. Do we have removal for Shala at least? Probably not. We're going to have to just beat it, which is going to be really, really hard. Shala is going to be serious pain to beat. I mean, we have Ixalan's Binding in the sideboard, but if we can get to 6 mana, we can Vraska and then pop it with a Vraska. So, I mean, we do have some removal, but yeah. Yeah, we can minus Vraska. That's pretty much, that's our best hope. Even though I was hoping to be able to pop this Oketra's Monument, I think that we probably need to... Alright, well, he's got to get rid of a Rishkar. Alright, so there's the land for the Regal Caracal. I think it's the right play. I mean, we do not get to exert here, which exerting will make 4 creatures, although Regal Caracal puts a lot of power onto the battlefield here, and I think it's the right play. So we'll go with that. And then it gives all of our cats lifelink, so I'll be able to start swinging for 8 here. And that 8 has lifelink, so we're going to go that route. I mean, he does have a lot of damage that he can put towards us, but we can put a lot of damage back with the Sisay and the Pride Sovereign. So, I mean, the opponent is now at 8, and we have lifelink blockers. So, that's not a bad deal at all. Sideboard Salinity would be sweet. If you were fighting against a Shala deck, yes. I think Shala is one of the better cards you can be running in green-white right now because of how well it defeats Settle the Wreckage. Like, if you just don't swing with Shala, and you can swing with everything else, they pretty much just can't seal away. They can't settle the wreckage. Shala is really, really good. So, Sideboardmtg and everyone else here who has served this great community. Happy Memorial Day. You know what? Happy Memorial Day to you too. Wow, he's going to Druidic Vow for 9. That's impressive. Opponent's deck looks great. It does. It does look great. Wow. He got a Multini. Multani. And then Thraxos, Scourge of the Krog. He got his own Sisay's Legacy. Whew. That's rough. Woof. Ova Pashiri was his last card. That'll untap Thraxos and make yet another body. Anointed Procession off the top would be nice. This Multini is going to be a problem. Okay, well... Okay, so... we're definitely going to Pride Sovereign here. I don't think that we go Oketra, even though Oketra would give us, you know, a body down that had double strike, and we could start using that as a mana sink. I think that we have to just hold off for just a little bit longer. I mean, we get to make some really, really big guys. I mean, he's making his dudes really big too. It's almost to the point where Marwyn can activate Shala by itself. This deck's really sweet. There's his O'Catcher the True, which means he gets to start doing some major pumpage too. Does he swing? Okay. Yeah, I mean, he can get that back, so... I'm going to put Lifelinker here. And then I'm going to move to blocks. We'll let him do his sorting. Oketra. He makes a dude. Waiting for him to pay cost. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and activate our Pride Sovereign here. now that he's past priority, and now we'll have two 13/13 Pride Sovereigns. Now they both have lifelink, so they're both going to hit him. Even though it only took 12 damage to kill him, they both hit him for 13, and that gave us 26 points of life gain there, which was absolutely terrific for us. And now we're going to mess up that that revolt trigger there. Like, playing with that, I forgot to sack the Evolving Wilds, but we'll be okay. So we're gonna destroy Shala, which this part's pretty cool. You get 2 treasure tokens, so that is pretty cool. He is gonna go ahead and put more +1/+1 counters on his bodies. Yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and sacrifice this. No reason not to. I should have quite some time ago. I think we have pretty much everything we need. We'll just get a Plains. So now we just kind of wait and hope our deck can just outproduce his deck. I mean, we have some really big bodies. We can take a really big hit, and you know, I'm just gonna go from here with Vraska. I mean, yeah, he is making huge dudes with Pashiri and things like that, but at this point we're just gonna Vraska everything. We're gonna go Vraska. We're gonna plus Vraska. We're gonna down take Vraska. We're gonna plus Vraska. It's just gonna be madness. It's gonna be crazy. Urza's Ruinous Blast. Well, ain't that a pickle? That is a pickle. Okay. Made you say it. What? What'd we say? Okay, I mean, he's going to destroy a bunch of things, but yeah, we're going to lose Vraska here. That Urza's Ruinous Blast. Woo. Madness. Well, the Urza's Ruinous Blast basically just blew us away. Yeah, that pretty much beat us right there. We're gonna have to have some major top decks to come back from this. I mean, that got rid of Anointed Procession. That got rid of everything. Legion's Landing. Oketra. I mean, yikes. We're... Play the Vraska so the opponent attacks her. Well, he sent so much damage at me that turn, he actually only sent enough damage at Vraska to kill her. And because we don't have a real way to protect Vraska, it wouldn't actually make him send a lot in her direction. We play Vraska, uptick her by 2, she'd be at 8 damage, he just sends Sisei, and that's it. So I'm pretty sure we're just goners. 6, 11, that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, plus another 11. We stop this 11, we stop this 11. Pray we draw Settle. Stat run Settle, right? Yeah. Lost Legacy against Ruinous Blast. Absolutely. Maybe something, because we can't afford that. Ruinous Blast is going to be devastating here. Like, this deck would have pulled out of that, but that Ruinous Blast was the one card that just took everything away. So I think we can beat... I don't think we need Oketra here. Invoke the Divine, I don't think that's exactly where we need to be, but Ixalan's Binding. I'm not for sure that Ixalan's Binding is going to be great, as I think that he might actually have multiple copies, or like only 1 or 2 copies of each of the things in his deck. It's one of the ways that you would make a legendary deck like that work when you're trying to use the Druidic Vow. That card works a lot like Genesis Wave or Genesis Hydra did. It was really really cool card. I do like the opponent's deck there. Very spicy. I think we're gonna need our characters that are our creatures that get really big characters. But our creatures that get really big. So I want to keep in the appeal to authority idea, especially the tap up to 2 target creatures that we might be able to get fairly aggressive here. So I am going to go for it. Stockpile does seem very, very good, but I think I would have to take out the appeal to the authority to get in the stockpile. So I'm going to go without it. At least we're not having land issues, which is decent. Okay, well, here we go. I mean, next turn we can just, you know, force Shauna. He got his Land of War Elf. Nothing we can do about that. We can Sun Petal Grove here. Over Bachiri. Land. A lot of legendaries here. I'm not going to block. I'll just play the forest. No real reason to play this yet, and it means that there's not much we can do, which is a little bit sad. Our opponent's doing things, and we're just kind of waiting here. Driven to Despair would be good in the deck. You're right, Jack. Driven to Despair would be good in this deck. It's one of the better split cards or aftermath cards. Appeal to Authority is really good too, though. I've seen some wins. The Brazilian team who originally come up with that green-white deck, when they were testing for the Pro Tour, I think it was Pro Tour Amonkhet, they started brewing up that deck. Okay, so the Isolated Chapel or the Woodland Cemetery will both come in untapped here. I do hope that I can get like a start to finish or a seal, or start to finish or something. We definitely need something to wipe the board here. Rush, you are like half an hour behind. Make sure you get live. Okay, well, give me something. Tishar. That's not cool. It's just not cool, guys. He wanted something in his graveyard, so when he casts this heroic spell, when he casts his Shauna, he gets his Land of War Elves back. It's not a Shauna, my bad. It is Oketra's Monument. So he casts Oketra's Monument, gets his Land of War Elf back. It triggers the Morrowind. Oh, what silliness. I mean, at least he's not swinging with Land of War anymore. I should have thought about that interaction with Morrowind and just taken the 1 point of damage. Definitely. That's an interaction I didn't know before. I didn't think about, you know, okay, he just gets his line of war killed, and then he just casts a spell from his deck. And since it's most, so this is like green white historic, so it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty cool. I might have to check this list out. I like that he's got all these crazy cards in here that when he casts Druidic Vow, and I'm guessing 4 is about as low as he wants to go on this. He threw away an Urza's Ruinous Blast, threw away another Druidic Vow, but he got an Oketra, and what else did he get? Oketra land? Yeah. Brutal. I mean, wouldn't he just take one if I just swung with this, right? He'd just take the one. I know I would probably. I should have taken the one. Oh, did someone say your name? Rush, I said your name. You were talking about one of the cards, like Hidden Stockpile. They're in the sideboard, so I thought maybe you were still on our sideboard. Just gonna swing for 2. So he's got another legendary something to cast. Or another historic permanent to cast. Come on, Daddy needs a new pair of shoes! Come on, baby, gas off the top. Right, well, we're going to need some gas off the top. This Druidic Vow deck is, this is not gas. Oh man, this is brutal. These appealed authorities would have been hidden stockpiles. Yeah. Yeah, they would have been. More land. I mean, it's better than nothing. Right? Come on, bring us the gas. We need the gas. We need mucho gas. Give me that gasolina. Give me that gasolina. No, no. Was that too much? Oh, I can't believe that song was a hit. It was just like that over and over and over again. We're dead here, guys. Like we're so dead. I mean, this is lethal, right? I mean, so let's go to 1. Watch out, Master Chief, it's the flood. Barry here going for the gas. Healing up too, look at that. Topping off. Not a lot we can do here. We had it though. I mean, if we would have gotten a token producer at any other point, we would have had more creatures. The double authority would have would have been pretty good. This is just a last-ditch effort to not die. I mean, our creatures get vigilance here, so, I mean, just a last-ditch effort to not die. I mean, he may have settle. He may just settle us. Oh, I forgot about that. So I should have done that one first. He pumps Oketra. He makes more bodies. Right, I mean, he just takes it. Respect my authority. I don't think he's respecting it. I don't think he's respecting it at all. If he's got any sense, he just flies over with Tishar. And then we're just dead. Right. Man, I mean, his token deck was pretty mean, dude. Like, I'm not going to say, like, that deck was pretty mean. I mean, we did hit plenty of land. I don't think we hit too many land. I just think that these authority were the wrong cards. In a case where hidden stockpile would have been authority, and like you were saying that that was like the main card that you wanted to be bringing in, hidden stockpile, if that would have been in the place of the authorities, then we would have been doing nothing but just like cycling through and making a whole bunch of dudes. So the deck is really, really sweet. I think that you could I think you're probably right on the idea of cutting a Pride Sovereign. 24 lands is going to be just fine for the deck. Cut a Pride Sovereign, move either the authorities or maybe not move all of them, but move the authority, at least you know, a finish and maybe a couple copies of authority to the sideboard, and run more Evolving Wilds. Like, seriously, run all 4 Evolving Wilds. Being able to trigger the hidden stockpile without actually losing a body is one of the greatest things that you can do in this deck. It's actually really, really important for you to be able to do exactly that. A lot of times, like, they'll fumigate you or something like that, and you may have to go 2-3 turns before you get another token producer. However, if you get, you know, a land off the top that can be sacrificed to actually trigger the revolt for this hidden stockpile, I think that'll give you a lot more reach into the late game, and it'll allow you to keep going wide, which will make the Sisseys and the Pride Sovereigns and stuff grow and grow and grow. Oketra the True is a really nice card, one of kind of card. I don't think you want 3 of this. I think it's just one of those cards that if it's in there and you hit it, it's great. It's going to give you that option. I think you could cut one of the Oketra the Trues, because a lot of times on turn 4, Oketra is actually going to be a do nothing. If you haven't had one really, really good good set of turns going, you know, Legion's Landing into a 2-drop into your Pride Sovereign, which you only have 3 Pride Sovereigns. So you either have to turn 3 play one of your other 2-drops like an Anointed Pouncer or another, you know, Anointed Priest or something like that. Otherwise, you're not really going to be able to do a lot of good the turn that Oketra comes down. And against any deck that has any removal, they're going to be able to just kind of ping and keep Oketra turned off. So I think that you could probably come out one of your Oketras, and I think that would help a little bit. Yeah, I think Oketra, just leave her as a one of. It's a really good card. It's not a bad card, but I don't think you ever want to see more than one of it, which only 2 of. You're probably not going to see more than 1 copy of it, but it's also not one of those cards where you're like, I want to see that every game, or every game I have to have this. It's just going to be one of those cards when it pops up, it will help tax Vraska's Contempt, and when it doesn't pop up, you're not going to worry about it. You're just going to find, you know, something else to play here. So I think you can cut an Oketra and make a little bit of room there. And then as far as that goes, that's pretty much the only changes I would make to this deck overall. Just the hidden stockpiles main board. I believe it's very, very important. Just to give you that stay power. More times than not, this deck's going to stabilize at, you know, sub 5 life anyway. So that is an option for you. Now, when it comes to the sideboard, I think that you've got a lot of room to play around with here in the sideboard. Again, like you can take take my advice or leave it when it comes to the naturalize, but I think that naturalize is going to be better. I think if you were in like a blue-white deck and you didn't have the option of naturalize, then maybe the invoke would be a better card. But I believe that some naturalize is actually going to be a little bit more important in this deck. The 2 mana is just great. Another suggestion for the sideboard is probably actually cutting this extra start to finish here, and maybe even cutting back an Ixalan's Binding or 2 for something else, like just overall answers. Like Sorcerer's Spyglass can call Shala, so that is something where she couldn't put +1/+1 counters on creatures anymore. So I mean, Sorcerer's Spyglass is really good. I mean, I do have a hard time finding answers or finding decks that Sorcerer's Spyglass is just not good against or just completely dead against. So Sorcerer, like how good it is against certain decks is just absolutely unbelievable. So Spyglass, I think, definitely has to come in here. And then, other than the Spyglass, I think that you need maybe a slot in here. And I'm probably going to cut one of these authorities now that they're in the sideboard. I know it's a good card, but it's one of those cards like you're going to want to see it from time to time. And you could probably even run it in the main board in place of the other Oketra. Like if you wanted to run like that and give yourself 2 appeals and 2 start to finish here, like I wouldn't have an argument with that, and that's probably actually a really good play. Like just run it kind of like this: 24 lands, you got your Evolving Wilds, you got your hidden stockpiles, appeal to authority, you know, it's going to be your real big one. Settle the Wreckage, there you go, Poopy, or Rocker, sorry. I would definitely either say Settle the Wreckage or Dusk Till Dawn. Dusk Till Dawn's a really good card, and it'll give you your creatures from the sideboard back, or from your main deck back. Almost every creature in your deck is going to fit this criteria. I mean, your Pride Sovereigns are going to come back because they have two power and toughness. You're going to get your Sisay's back, or sorry, Sisay's Legacy, Shana. You're going to get Shana back. Anointed Priests, you can get those back. Anointed Pouncers, you can get those back. So, Dusk Till Dawn or Settle the Wreckage are both going to be really good. Personally, you're probably going to want to go with the Settle the Wreckages just to be able to deal with certain cards, but I like Settle the Wreckage here. Fumigate is going to be a good card. Like you could definitely get away with Fumigates if you liked like that. You're going to like gain a bunch of life in a lot of situations when you wipe the board. And normally these tokens decks with Anointed Procession and Hidden Stockpile, these decks don't really mind Fumigate as much because of your rebuild capabilities. You definitely have the ability to completely rebuild the deck or rebuild your board state very, very fast. But again, Pride Sovereign could probably just be the cat. And when I say the cat, I mean the 1 mana roadblock. Sacred Cat. Like, Pride Sovereign's a really good card. It's another Sisay type effect. It does get really big. But without the appeal to authority, you're not going to have like just monstrous creatures. So I definitely think that if you're going to stay on the Sisay Pride Sovereign plan, then keep the appeal to authority. So let's grab you some settles. And for now, I'm just going to say that Settle the Wreckage is probably where you want to be. But if you did want to run Dusk Till Dawn, I can definitely get behind that, and I think that Dusk Till Dawn is probably a really good card for you, returning all creatures with power 2 or less from the graveyard, from your graveyard to your hand, and just letting you replay those. I think that's going to be a really, really good play for you. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to bring your Regal Caracals back, and it will kill your Regals. So you may or may not want Dusk Till Dawn. Maybe it's just Settle the Wreckage. So either way, I really did. I enjoyed the deck too. We just come up against a deck that he kind of had our number. You know, like it was a very interesting deck. We played the deck the other day. I've been crushed by that particular Shala deck, or a deck playing Shala a couple of times lately. So it's definitely something we probably need to look into. You know, these historic decks that are not blue-white. I mean, the deck was for better or worse historic. So there is a Bant historic deck that I have seen floating around that I might have to try with. So, but yeah, I think the deck's actually really nice. A really nice deck, and that's probably, we'd probably give most decks a yes. We're going to the Helm deck. Most decks a really good run for their money with this deck. So I do like it, Madness. It was a lot of fun to play. So I do have to grab a couple cards here for the Helm deck. I've got to figure out what cards I am missing. I had the deck pulled up. Blue-white Helm. Looks like something's missing out of the deck, and I've got to figure it out. Okay, so he only had 22 lands in the deck, 7 plains, 4 island. This can't be the right. 7 plains, 4 islands. One. Okay, I've got this backwards. Okay, so it's. Yeah, there we go. 7 plains, 4 islands. So only 22 lands in the deck. 2 Urza's Ruinous Blast. Okay. And then he had 4 Syncopates. And a Zahid. There we go. He had 3 Zahid. 3 Zahid. 3 Shala. 3 Raph. 3 Danitha. 2 Gideons. 2 Teferi. Hey, we're good. Okay. So this is a Helm of the Host deck, guys. Let me get my chat back up so I can see you guys. All right. So yeah, blue-white, down with blue-white. No, Rush does not like blue-white. Well, it's not a Teferi deck. We're not Teferiing people. Okay. Well, I mean, we have the option to Teferi people, right? Originally, he had a 14-card sideboard, and he was missing, or he had the Planeswalker deck Teferi. I can't find any real good reason to put the Planeswalker deck Teferi in here, and he's really hard to get online. So I just put regular Teferi in its place. So that's the only, and then the 15th card, I just put another Teferi. So Teferi wasn't his original plan. The original plan here is to play a Helm of the Host. And let's read this. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except that token isn't legendary if equipped creature is legendary. That token gains haste. Now, this particular token will have 0 converted mana cost. It is not copying a card. It is copying a creature. So it will not copy the converted mana cost. Okay, now that is something that we've kind of dealt with the Scarab God and GPG. Those are copying a card from the graveyard and putting that into exile, copying the entire card. This particular card is copying a creature, so you'll get all the effects of the creature. You will not get any, +1/1 counters or anything that have been placed onto that creature. However, you'll get that creature as a token without a converted mana cost. So you will be able to fatal push these tokens if you needed to. All right, Seal Away, 4 of here. We've got 4 Treasure Map, 3 Danitha, 2 Gideons, and then the 4-drop. All right, let's talk about these 4s. We've got 2 Ixalan's Bindings, 3 Shalas, 4 Settle the Wreckage here. Jeez, at the Wrath Compassion and Helm of the Host. This deck has got a lot going on and doesn't have a lot of ways to hold those things back. Now, Teferi's not bad. I like Teferi. Teferi's just a really good card. I don't like playing against Teferi. Now, most of our creatures and our permanents are Shala voice, are legendary and stuff. But you're going to notice that he's running 2 copies of Urza's Ruinous Blast here, and I don't think that that's a really good idea with the particular removal package he has chosen. Okay, so we look at Seal Away and Ixalan's Binding as being some of the more powerful removal in the deck. However, if we do have important creatures under Ixalan's Binding or Seal Away or our treasure maps out, we can't cast Urza's Ruinous Blast, guys. Like, we just can't. So that's going to be really, really dangerous. I mean, if we do use our early removal, which we do expect to be using it, then Urza's Ruinous Blast is just shut off, which is going to be a little bit scary. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this. I know Urza's Ruinous Blast looks like it is an amazing card, but be really careful about the decks that you put it in. I have yet to have it to be a really good card. The best deck I've ever seen it cast in was probably just a few moments ago when it was just cast. He was left with so many things on his board that is very rare to see that with Urza's Ruinous Blast. So I'm just not excited to run Urza's Ruinous Blast with non-legendary permanents that would seal away their their creatures under an enchantment, so that when we blow up our own enchantments, we're giving them their creatures back. Like, we're basically hiding their creatures and making their creatures safe for our Urza's Ruinous Blast. Now, I guess against a control deck or something like that, if you had swung and then they went to seal away your dude, you could seal away your dude in response to it. Put it away for safekeeping, maybe. I'm squinting, guys. I'm trying to see. Looking for that silver lining. Like, where do we go with this? I don't know. Yeah, I think Fumigate's just flat better. I do. I think Fumigate's better. So, probably even cut down a Settle and go into a 3 copies of Fumigate here or something like that. Zaid has a 3 of is pretty interesting. I think he's wanting to see this every game. However, I don't know if we're actually going to be able to cast Zaid for his alternate converted mana cost, which doesn't really matter. He gets in front of Lyra really good and or really well, and that's kind of the major purpose of Zaid. So we do have 3 copies of Wrath. Now Wrath's great. We're going to be able to cast this stuff at instant speed. We're going to sit back and pretend that we're a blue-white control deck, but as soon as we don't counter something and they start casting through us, then Gideon's Reproach is better. Okay, well, yes, Gideon's Reproach would be really good if you're wanting to run the Urza's Ruinous Blast. The big question would be, do you want to run Urza's Ruinous Blast, or do you want to run the Seal Away's Ixalan's Binding? Personally, I think that Seal Away is just a better 2-mana removal spell than worrying about, like, the gap of Seal Away over pretty much anything else you have, like Gideon's Reproach, or like Gideon's Reproach doesn't deal with a lot of creatures, but then again, anything with Vigilance you're not going to deal with there either. So 1 white, 4 damage for an attacking creature. Gideon's Reproach is 2 white, isn't it? Yeah, 1 white, 1 colorless for Gideon's Reproach here. So, I mean, it's 2 mana. It's the same price as Seal Away, but Seal Away is going to get the Scarab God. It's going to get, you know, big dudes. So, yeah. Oh, 1 and a white. Yeah, got you. One and a white. My bad. I still think Seal Away is better, but I think the gap between Seal Away and some of the other 2 mana white removal, like Baffling End and you know, Gideon's Reproach, I think that the gap between Seal Away and them is larger than the gap between Urza's Ruinous Blast and Fumigate. That I would be more willing to get rid of the Urza's Ruinous Blast for the Fumigates, you know what I mean? Syncopate the Scarab God. Okay, alright. Just Syncopate for the Scarab God. That'll handle him. It will. It will handle him, and playing Zahid on turn 4 will also take care of him. You just get in there with Zahid. Just get in there. Like, just flying over and dealing damage. Like, there's so many decks that just can't deal with him. We can always Teferi and just bouncing too. Like, okay, you play You're the Scarab God, I'll play my Teferi, I'll bounce You're the Scarab God, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, let's look at the sideboard here. He did keep the converted mana cost fairly low here in the sideboard. Essence Scatters and Spell Pierce. No negate, 0 negate in the deck. I don't know about that. I'm still on the fence about the 0 negates here. 1 Cast Out, 1 Ixalan's Binding, 2 Bard, Steward of Argiv. There's no way I pronounced that right. Has Vigilance. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those attacking creatures, or for each of those creatures. So he is a tax, which is, you know, not bad. I don't think we need that, but he is a pretty good attack effect. The 4th copy of Helm of the Host. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, is it really though? I mean, aggro builds a board state, and then they say, okay, I've got 4 creatures, and okay, I'll pay 4 mana. Swing. You know. I don't know. 2 Teferi and 2 Rivers Rebuke. Rivers Rebuke's pretty good. I mean, just bouncing all of their stuff, that's pretty decent. Honestly, Rivers Rebuke is probably better than Urza's Ruinous Blast here. Just saying. Let's jump into some games. Right? Oh, come on, guys. We've got to win one. Nobody's buying into the Spyglass hype. They just want to keep losing to Teferi. And, oh, Helm on Bard. Dang, okay. It makes sense. That makes sense. They want to keep losing to Teferi and griping about it. That's what it is. Like, I can't kill Teferi. Well, play Helm. I mean, play Spyglass. You just got to keep your eyes on him at all times, right? So as long as the Spyglass is down, you're looking at Teferi. Right? You can't do anything. It's like a Mario guy. And it's like the guys in Ghost in the Mario house. You got to be looking at them, or they'll come get you. Oh, Helm on Gideon. That is the idea right there. Good luck, have fun, opponent. Let's do this. Okay, well, we've got a Field of Ruin. We've got an Island. This is bad. It's so bad. Like, we've already got the non-bow. The non-bow right here. I don't want a mulligan. Like, oh, alright, we'll do it. It got worse. I didn't even look. How many? How many land are we running in this deck? 22 land? 22 land? Oh my goodness! Are you serious? You don't want to play Magic. That's what it is. People don't want to play Magic. They just don't want to play Magic. You got to put land. Oh my goodness. Yeah, tilt. 100% tilt. You put 22 land in a deck that wants to do Helm. Oh my goodness. Banking on the treasure map? Oh yeah, you're banking hard on it. In a format full of a braid, you're gonna bank on a treasure map. Let it out. Oh, I want to. I really do. I really want, like, why? I'm going to let it out. Here we go. Let's go. Let's just rage right now. Alright, we're going to look at the standard mocks right here. Blue-white control. First place. 26 land cards in this deck. Alright, we're going back. We're going back. Wait a minute. We've got more. Black-green Constrictor. Deck tops out at 5 converted mana cost. Nothing more than 5 converted mana cost in this deck. Like, there's not even Galta here. Wait a minute. Sorry. There is a Vraska. 23 lands. And has a ton of J-Light Rangers. And, like, to give it more lands, I still think that this should have been 24 land. But 23 lands in this one. We only got 24 in the current one. Red-black aggro. Okay. 24 lands in red-black aggro. New Perspectives combo. This will be like 26 land. 24 land. Okay. 24 land. Like, don't run. Wizards. Here we go. We might find a really small land base. 21 lands in Wizards. Mono red aggro. That's an aggro deck, right? It shouldn't have many lands in it, right? 23 lands. Like, these are aggro decks. I don't know. We're just not going to get to play Magic. That's all. 22 lands in a deck trying to hit that much. Oh my goodness. Hey, we hit a land. Let's play her. I mean, there's no real reason to play her, but we'll play her anyway. I've got Seal Away. What am I going to seal away? It's blue-white. The first thing he did was cycled a hieroglyphic illumination. What are we going to seal away? On tilt. Seal a land. We're going to seal away Drakes. To abuse Temporal Gateway? No, not 100%, but my wife was playing Arena today, and she said there was a lot of people playing the Temporal Gateways on Arena. So, I mean, that means people are trying to play around with the idea of Temporal Gateway. Let's get settled! Oh, yeah! Let's do some damage! I mean, she goes against the Drakes pretty well. I mean, you gotta put 2 Drakes in front of her just to do something. Same thing for, get wrecked, son! Put some land in this deck, it'd probably be pretty good. Just cut the 2 Urza's Ruinous Blast. Just put 2 more land in it. Probably great. Like, in all seriousness, like, just cut the 2 Urza's Ruinous Blast, put some land in the deck. Like, if you're wanting to hit, like, big things, you're wanting to keep your... let's see if he's got another Settle the Wreckage. Is he going to give us some land here? Censor. Cycling a Drakehaven. Like, the fact that you have as many of these on here means you're trying to hit this early. Meaning that you're wanting to have your turn 4 and turn 5 mana. You're going to have to play 24 lands to have that turn 5 mana. Like, it's just something you're going to need to do. I mean, does he put them both in front of Raph, or... He's just gonna put them both in front of Raph. Yeah? Well, I want to use his flash ability at least once. Flash it in now instead of my main phase. Because I can. Oh, wait. I could have saved one of those manas. I forgot. She makes, like, things cost a lot less. Bye, Raph. Cut treasure maps. Maybe. Maybe you could cut treasure maps. I don't think the deck really needs treasure maps. You could probably bring in... You could probably cut the treasure maps all together and bring in a couple essence scatters out of the sideboard and make some room there for some negates. Probably 2 spell pierce. Cut one of the essence scatters, bring it main board, and then like go from there. Need land? Land? No, it's a Shala. So she's a great lock with Helm of Host. So I really like the idea of Helm of Host, and I thought it was a really good idea too. So when I seen the deck, like I was like, oh man, yeah, that's great. It got the votes. We're gonna play it. It's gonna be awesome. Now I don't like make any changes to these decks. I try not to make any changes to these decks. And again, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be awesome, man. We're gonna get to play, you know, Shala, and we're gonna put Helm of Host on her. Helm of Host means that when you get 2 of those down, like you're just completely indestructible. You can't be stopped. It's awesome. But yeah, unfortunately, it just didn't happen for us. So Helm of Host making copies of Denethor here might be pretty good though. Oh. Well, I mean, like, when you have Shala, and then you make another copy of Shala, creatures you control have hexproof, and you have hexproof, so she makes the other one have hexproof, the other one will make her have hexproof. Everything you have has hexproof. Or planeswalkers, creatures, and yourself. Like, they can get your permanents. They can still target your Helm, but that's all they're going to do. Right? Oh my goodness. If she was like pure steel paladin or something like that, where equipment costs like 1 less or something like that, oh, that'd be so good. It's like having 2 Suncrest. Exactly, same thing. Same thing as 2 Suncrested Mares. Denethor is still pretty good. I wish we had a lot more like cheap equipments that would be. Like, it seems like we would have a collection of really nice swords on Dominaria, but I guess not. So, like, you would just think that all of the great historical saga tellers would have something there. I don't know. We got a land, so we get to try this. We're gonna make our first copy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we did have some good swords. There's the short sword. Got us. Like, you mean none of the heroes from, like, that were in Euphorexia, like, Karn didn't come back with a sword of body and mind or something, or... Like, they were all in Mirrodin. Like, did the swords of body and mind get lost? Like, did the sword of feast and famine and war and peace? Black sword is in the set. Okay, Black Blade, it has been reforged. Bells and Lock does have it again. We are dead. He just got Hieroglyphic in his hand. He got Censor in his hand. Renewed Faith. Countervailing Winds. It's brutal. Treasure map, because we can. Absolutely. Urza's Ruinous Blast couldn't even be cast. TM. You can't even cast Urza's Ruinous Blast right now. It has to be a creature or planeswalker. Like having this on the battlefield would not allow you to cast Urza's Ruinous Blast. Okay, it is a legendary artifact, but for legendary sorceries, they have to be a creature or artifact. This is tough to watch. This just hurts. Like, I'm just looking at chat pressing the button. I know, it's horrible. This is another reason that Urza's, like right now, Urza's Ruinous Blast is not even a good top deck. Okay, even if he didn't have a counter, it still wouldn't be a good top deck. I am. I'm going to seal away a Drake, and then I'm going to use my treasure map this turn. It's like all I can think of. It's like we just got to hedge a little bit of damage, so. Let's get our scry. Let's land. Let's put that on the bottom. Even though we needed to land earlier. That's right. Seal away your critter. Unless you won't counter it. I mean, countervailing winds for 3, you'll deal with it. Or you can just censor me. That's right. I should have left up. Yeah, just played into that. I've been on tilt since I started playing this deck. Yes, Zahid is getting countered right here. He has to counter Zahid. Zahid requires like 3 Drakes to block it. Is this deck so bad? Yes. Yes, it is, Jane. Did you build it? What? Like, what would you rather me tell you guys? Like, would you rather me go, no, this is a great deck, this is awesome, you know, you guys are my viewers, you're my fans, you have built this monstrosity, and you should take this to Friday Night Magic just the way it is. Would you rather me say that? Would you rather me say that? I just don't think that that's a good idea. I mean, I think we need to point out like just basic basic building blocks that need to be dealt with. I mean, I'm gonna keep the Syncopate. I don't know what he's got. We're not gonna get to keep anything because we're gonna shuffle. It's gonna go away. Great concept, bad execution. I like the idea of the deck. I think he's got a couple cards in the deck that are absolutely phenomenal. Alright, like we're not going to come back against this Drake Haven deck, are we? I mean, do we have an option? I mean, if he countered us out of the graveyard, we might have some kind of like crazy way of getting back into this. I mean, if we get like Shala off the top, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It may not be over, ladies and gentlemen. It may not be over. It is probably over because he's probably got enough cycling things to go ahead and cycle again at the end of turn. I'm gonna put my stop in my upkeep, even though we can't use it. Yeah, we can use it because we can treasure map and then. Oh, sweet. We can use it here. Danatha on top. I'm going to put Danatha on the bottom. Oh, this is going to get sweet. We get a white source. Had to be a white source there so that we can help protect Gideon. He didn't make another Drake. That means he's running really low on cycling spells. And if he's running really low on cycling spells and he doesn't have any counter spells here in the graveyard, we might have a small window to copy Gideon. Helm on Gideon every turn. You are correct. That is going to be the future play. Like, this could get crazy, guys. Like, this could become like the most powerful thing. And that's why I was like really excited to play this Helm deck. Like, having this and Shala in the deck at the same time were just like really, really good interactions that I've been wanting to see pull off. However, I think that there's some things that we probably could have done to help pull this off a little bit better. Alright, so I'm going to crew up Gideon. We're going to go ahead and equip Gideon. Enter combat. I've been wanting to see this on Magic Online, right? So we make another Gideon. And I'm going to swing with Gideon. If he has to settle the wreckage, that's fine. When Gideon goes back to being a planeswalker, there's nothing, like the helm's going to fall off anyway. Okay, so he settles. We'll grab another land here. Second main phase, we're going to make sure this Gideon, or this token, can't do anything. And then again, we'll just copy Gideon next turn. So, your mind is blown? That's right. Like, that was a creature. The problem is you can't swing with the Gideon that you made because you don't actually make it to the beginning of combat, and you can't actually activate to do his make him a 4/4 until afterwards. So, like, there's two interactions in this deck that I was extremely excited about, and this one and Shala are the two. Okay, another treasure map. It's not horrible. We're not playing Jin here. So we make Gideon. Crew with Gideon. Or not crew with Gideon, like equip Gideon. He's like, what can I do? How do I stop this? Well, it's not legendary, so he's just going to make. We're just going to make a copy of it here. Oh no! Did he just cycle a Forsake the Worldly? What? Why wouldn't he exile target artifact or enchantment? He cycled it to make a Drake when he could just get rid of the Helm. I don't understand. Oh, that's right. He can cycle. This was why I didn't understand. He needed to cycle it, get a free card, and then play it from the graveyard. Okay. TM got it before I did. Thank you, TM. Syncope? No Syncope? Okay. Got me. Really wanted to keep attacking with my Gideon and making copies of it. Yeah, with the abandoned thingy. Abandoned sarcophagus. Oh, sad panda. Definitely a sad panda there. Well, I mean, the Djinn of the Lamp will be handy. So, I mean, we'll just play Zaid next turn, and that'll be handy. Like, we can use this. We can tap this, and then sacrifice it to the treasure map to draw an extra card. Search for Escanta. What is it going to give him? He got a countervailing winds. Alright, well, that's he's got 7 cards in the graveyard, so that's going to do him some good. He just kills this Gideon here, which, you know, that's a bit of a pain. Oh, sad panda. Nice emojis, Poopy. Nice emojis. Oh. There was a spark of hope for a moment that we would be able. Yeah, let's go ahead and cycle our scry here. Ixalan's binding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't use this one for mana if we want to use it for Zahid. He's got countervailing wind, so we have to play Zahid to make him actually tap. Arrgh. Yeah, we're going to leave it on top. We're going to draw it. So we're going to play Zahid and cycle. We got to get rid of the countervailing wind, so we'll play Zahid to see if we can do that. So we'll just blue, tap this. So now he should like cycle countervailing winds and then counters. Pretty sure it's non-land permanent. Can you bind a sarcophagus? Yes, you can. Enters the battlefield, target non-land permanent. So he's going to make a couple drakes. I mean, I would Urza's Ruinous Blast this board state right now. I sure would. I mean, we would have to get this Zahid off before we could, but I would do it. I'd be happy about it too. I mean, we can't because we can't cast it, but it would be cool. We're just going to draw as many cards as we can here. We're going to cycle, and then we're going to draw a card off of the treasure map. That's going to be game. He got another countervailing winds. So brutal. I mean, we go to 2 right here, so like we need something major. Okay, well, scry, Field of Ruin, bottom. I mean, I could pop that with it, but we need like settle here, or yeah, that's game. That is game. All right, let's jump into the sideboard. Those don't look major. No, those do not look major. Yeah, we need something major, and those do not look major. Okay, well, Spell Pierce might be good, but I doubt it. River's Rebuke's probably going to be awesome if we can fire it off. Urza's Ruinous Blast, I don't think is where we're going to want to be. I want the cast out. Yeah, I want the birds. I want the cast outs. I'm going to get rid of Sealaways and run it like this. Man, I kind of want these Spell Pierces in case he just tries to get quick. Settle's going to be good. But I need to be pushing, like, I need to be putting threats against him. Settle's going to be great, though. But I need to make him, like, spend his spells every turn. I'm going to take out 1 treasure map, bring in 2 Spell Pierces. I ain't going to overdo it with the Spell Pierces. Teferi might be nice, but yeah. Ditch two maps, you think too? I could do that. I could do that. Like, Teferi might be good here. Like, it might be the right one, right thing to bring in and just kind of go on that Teferi thing. But if he's even, like, remotely building stuff, then Teferi's not going to be where we want to be. And this is not horrible. I'll keep. Like, if we can just stop, like, some of his devastating things. Like, we need to stop the Drake Havens, right? And then of course cut Zahid. Well, Zahid's like our only flyer, so I think having Zahid is actually really important. I mean, making a 5/6 flyer ends the game very fast. This is a good turn to do this because he can't play. He can't actually play his. You're half awake, the rivers are in the deck. Whatever, Rush. He couldn't play his Drake Haven this turn anyway, just because he doesn't have enough mana for it, so. Alright, so there's a Rebuke. Maybe I should have scryed there. Maybe. Probably. You made a black-green rat deck with Driven to Despair, and it's super fun. That sounds fun. It really does. A black-green rat deck. Like, so what else is the green for? Just Driven to Despair? Just for Rush? I don't know. Driven to Despair is actually just a really good card. Like, I like the card. Gideon. Do we want that on top? I mean, we're going to want it at some point. But just when? We can go ahead and draw our Gideon this turn. So we know we have a Gideon. And then we'll just pass. We can always destroy one of his lands to have our second white source to play Gideon next turn. I could have Zahided right there, but with his 3 mana open, I think he was just looking to counter something. So we'll just pop his Glacial Fortress in combat, so like he can't do any sorceries or anything. Alright, he's just going to cycle. That's okay. We'll get a white source. Now we still get to pretend we've got Negate open through his second main phase. We're looking for land here, though. Cast out. Oh, man. I think I'm just going to put that on the bottom. Still looking for land here. In all honesty, you can't watch anything blue, white, and standard. You can't. You'll zone out. Need that Flash Dancer dude now. He's actually casting that. I want that treasure map. So, I'm just going to syncopate his cast out. I want the treasure map. I think the treasure map's going to be really nice to be able to draw some cards. Sure, we'll put that on top. Draw treasure map. We can wait. We can wait. Like, I'm greedy. I look at all these treasures like those are all going to be an extra card. So, I am going to be a little greedy here. There's a Stewart. Let's go for Gideon. We are go for Gideon. We'll make emblem. And then... Wait. I'm going to go ahead and draw now, in case we hit our land. No, just a Spell Pierce. Okay. Well, the Spell Pierce may be really handy. He's cycling and countervailing winds. Remember clue tokens. God, you miss clue tokens, you know. Clues were awesome. Tireless Tracker was an awesome card. Had a whole play set, like, right before we rotated. We're talking, like, a week before we rotated. A buddy of mine was like, hey, let me borrow those. I want to play them in my modern deck. Never seen them again. Matt, if you're watching, I want my Tireless Tracker back. Tireless Tracker, he was just a great card. I thought the card was awesome. Syncopate. Cancel that. Gideon's gonna be a dude. We'll attack. So he goes to settle. We syncopate for 3. He takes the damage. I mean, we just gotta like keep punching in. Like, we can't just give up here. So, just got to the stream. Which of the decks are we playing? We are playing the 3rd deck. We're playing the blue-white Helm deck. In game 1, we got to start copying Gideon, which was cool. I was really happy with that. No. I mean, let's see if we have to settle here. I assume he starts cycling. He did just take it. Bard, Steward of Argive. Argive? Is it live or live? Give or Give. I want him to land. I don't know. I think he's worth fighting over right now because, like, Drakehaven wants to spend all of its mana doing other things. So, I think he's worth fighting over. You should let me challenge you with the rats? Or let you challenge me with the rats? Oh, that'd be brutal. So brutal. It's totally worth fighting over. Fixing to post your deck on... You're fixing to post your deck on Reddit. Well, cool. Another settle the wreckage. Sure, we'll take another spell pierce. Why not? Probably just gonna lose our Gideon and our Bard here. What? Okay, opponent. Okay. No point in floating. I'm gonna grab an island. We do need, you know. Oh no, I should have got a plains. Should have got a plains. I don't have double white now. Should have got a plains. I should have got a plains. Okay, we'll get our plains here. Sweet. Good job, good job, opponent. Helping us out there. He needed to thin the deck as much as possible. I mean, he was looking at death next turn if he can't get a settle the wreckage. If he can't, like, deal with this, he's dead next turn. So, Ixalan's biting. Where are you going with that thing? He's gonna get it on a... He's putting it on a Gideon. Alright, well, I mean, that happens. Let's scry us one. We'll put that on the bottom. Like, the deck has been a little bit clunky as far as we've been really trapped, like, holding the Zahid in hand. I mean, there's been turns where I could have actually cast the Zahid, but not really. I'm going to go ahead and play the farmland just so we have more land. Like, we're just now truly getting to our 6th mana. So, like, we can cast River's Rebuke. I mean, we've had the treasure maps and things like that, but we're just now getting to our 6th mana to hard cast something like Zahid or River's Rebuke. So, we'll just swing here and pass. I mean, if he has an answer for this, we pretty much try to do all of our things on his turn next turn. So he loses his Drake. So, like, the big deal here is we're going to be able to play Wrath Compassion. Like, this is a pretty good lineup. Like, River's Rebuke's going to be pretty decent here. So we get to go Wrath Compassion. Treasure map. Let's put that on the bottom. Danitha. Let's just try the rebuke. Like, the main reason I want to try the rebuke is because it means he can't. If his idea was to make drakes and block, then he's just not going to have that option, and we'll know exactly what's going on before combat. The other option is, all right. So he can't make drakes in response to the rebuke. Okay, like, he has to now be holding settle the wreckage. So we're going to just try to swing lethal here. Like, if he doesn't have settle the wreckage, then he's dead. I don't know. Maybe a seal away would work here. Okay, so he has a cast out. Alright, so cast out's going to get it for him. Oh, that's right. We put the cast out back in his hand, so now he can get rid of Wrap. So he'll take 2, maybe? Yeah, it takes the 2. That can't do damage. Draw a card. Field of Ruin. We'll play Field of Ruin. Okay, well, we know he's got Drake Haven, and 2 other cards, so you're an upvote for an upvote kind of guy. Like, you upvote mine, I'll upvote yours. 4/5/1 Trample Menace Rats. See, that seems so good. Seems so good. I think the Vanquisher's Banner is one of the best things in that deck. It's getting McGideon again. Well, I mean, we'll draw a card. That's not bad. It means Settle doesn't save him. Like, he has to have Cycling Land, like Cycler in hand. Settle does not do it. Has to be Cycler. It was a Forsake the Worldly. So he'll make a dude. Alright, well, we're going to get Zahid down. And we'll pass. I could have also, like, spent the treasure to get Danitha down. But, again, I'm not that worried about it. Now he has to have 2 Cyclers or a Settle. He's going to go ahead and try now. Well, I guess he could have actually cast the cast out instead of cycling it. Okay, that's not horrible. Yeah, let's just get into combat, see what happens. We can do everything else on the end of his turn. I mean, he needs 1 more Cycler here. Or a Settle. He didn't tap white mana like he has a Settle. Another Forsake. Okay. So he brought a lot of Forsake the Worldly in against us, worried about the Helm. We're going to have to go for clocking the opponent. I mean, we could always speed it up here. Like, I do get to pass completely on this turn. I mean, he's definitely wrote it out here. You got to give him some major props. Like, he could technically put all 3 of those Drakes in front of that Zahid. And, like, he is going Forsake the Worldly into Forsake the Worldly. Into, like, Renewed Faith into Forsake the Worldly. So, he could stop all damage here. I don't think he swings back. Really? Sure. I mean, he swung. Like, that ain't on me. Ain't my fault he swung. We could clock him. Just having the Bard out. We could probably just like start spamming F6 and clock him. He's only got like 2 minutes and something. Like, we just gained a minute on him like that. Well, I just won't swing with the Bard. I swing with Zahid and Wrath, and we'll see what happens. And if he has Settle, I'll just like flash in Danitha. Like, there's not even a point in flashing in Danitha, but either way. Like, if he has Settle, I'm just gonna spam F6 till he's dead. Like, 2 minutes left on the clock. Like, I don't think he can beat us. Maybe, but like the amount of triggers his deck has to resolve and the way he's like eating through his time right now, so that's what Magic needs, a Bard creature type. I am so with that. Like I have been a fan of the Bard class. Actually, any of you guys ever play this weird game called A Bard's Tale? Tribal Bards, right? They're human Bard, right? If there's human knights, we should have human bards telling the tale of the great heroes and historic sagas, reading the saga, or no, singing the sagas of, it would work, heavy metal bards, right? Jamming the sagas. Oh, opponent. You're just timing out on us. Like, what are you doing, opponent? What are you doing? No Hapatra? What? Singing the greats, playing the classics, charming the ladies. Right? There you go, buddy. You know, when I first seen your name, Poopy Fatty, I thought that you were going to be a troll. I thought, oh, great, we've got us a troll. No. You just stick it all in the name. You're like, here's going to be my troll, and then I'll just be a cool guy. Madness, I do. I had a lot of fun with your green black deck, dude. The deck was fun. And there's some interactions in this deck that are just phenomenal. That if we could get into something else. Aiden says, yes, a Bard's Tale. The narrator was just so good. Love bards? Watch Gamers. Dorkness Rising. Gamers, Dorkness Rising. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. The opponent fell asleep. He lost anyway. We won one! Yay! We won one! Looks like we were probably gonna win that anyway. The Helm deck. I don't really have a lot to say for this deck, although I think there's some like construction issues here. Like I mentioned earlier about the Urza's Ruinous Blast and the Sealways and the Ixalan's Bindings and how I felt about those. So there is that aspect of it. Now, as far as Helm goes, I think there's a couple interactions in Helm that are absolutely phenomenal and should be used if you do run a Helm deck. For one, the Helm deck should probably be in white, mainly because of the Gideon interaction where you can copy Gideon. You do get an extra Gideon Planeswalker that just isn't legendary. It does remove that legendary text from Gideon's, from Gideon the Planeswalker, so you do get to have a second Gideon down. That Gideon does become a Planeswalker that has yet to be activated. So you would get to activate that at your second main phase. Go back and check out Game 1 there. You'll see late into Game 1 we actually got to make that happen. So you'll get to see exactly how that interaction works. Another interaction that is in this deck that we were not actually able to take advantage of is Shala. Shala will, if you make a copy with Helm of the Host, Shala will give you... Will give you Planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control hexproof. Rush, all this talk about falling asleep playing blue-white, you're making me want to do it. But that's about the two major interactions that I find to just be phenomenal here. Now, if you get to keep your extra creature that you made, and it's the only creature you get to keep, even that will not help you with the Urza's Ruinous Blast. Also, Urza's Ruinous Blast will destroy everything created by the Helm. This card's got to go. You're 100% going to want 24 lands. I think we could have been a much more aggressive deck if we would have been running 24 lands. And it would be pretty straightforward. Probably just 2 more islands. And that's because the deck is really, really short on islands. And in the sideboard, you could be wanting those islands as early as turn 2 for an Essence Scatter. I think that Syncopate's a really good card. I do like Syncopate in the deck. A couple other changes that I would make to the deck, other than just, like, I probably wouldn't play this version of it. The only thing I really think are just, like, must-haves here, you guys are, you're gonna hate me for this, because I'm just gonna demolish this this deck. Yeah, let's get that out of the way. The only thing I think that is absolutely worth having, and Danitha is great. Like, leaving Danitha around is fine, but Helm of the Host, Gideon, Zahid as a 1 or a 2 of. I don't think you want 3 Zahid. Wrath is fine because you can play Wrath, you can flash in the Helm at the end of their turn, and then, like, they don't know that they're about to get a copy. Oh, my yawns! And then the Shala. Like, you gotta have the Shala. Like, out of this deck, I would definitely want these creatures, but I don't even know if Danitha needs to be here. I don't even know if Wrath needs to be here. I don't think you're gonna get a lot of value out of having extra Wrath copies or whatever. So, Rush, dude. Add me on Xbox. Hit me up. We'll play some PUBG. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me tonight. Much love. I had a lot of fun playing these games. We could flash in Wrath. Yes, we can flash in Wrath. You can use Wrath to flash in the Helm and then have 5 mana on their turn. Like, yeah, there are, well, I'm not in front of mine, and I'll have to go back and look at it, but there's some other interactions. Like, I do like these cards. I think that he's trying to copy the right things. I think that the Charmed has definitely got the right idea with having the Gideons and having the Shala in the deck, and it's hard to be playing blue-white without Teferi. I think that Charmed, who actually built this deck, I think that he has definitely taught us, you know, that we do need to be in white. We do see exactly why a Helm deck needs to be in white. So I do like that. I do like the idea of a Helm deck. I think that there's some great interactions here, and I would love to see, like, I'd love to see someone, you know, come out with a little bit more polished product. I think that there's some definite mismanagement of lands and resources here with the Urza's Ruinous Blast, you know, pairing with Sealaways and things like that. So, Charm, don't be too mad at me for coming down on the deck. It's just there's some things there that I think that are just non-bows that we don't need, and I think that we can make a much stronger deck without it. So, back to the drawing board on this one as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that it's one where you want to erase the board altogether. You want to definitely keep some parts there. But guys, I had a lot of fun, and we'll see you next time here on Sideboard MTG. Guys, take care.